Hello.
Hey, what's up, Kobie?
Nothing much.
I guess walk me through what's the tone and tenor of practice like so far this week? How do you guys kind of shed what happened Saturday and move forward positively to NC State on Saturday?
Yeah, so the one word that I'd use for practice today to describe it would be intense. Um, you know, we're a team that is very much so used to, sticking our heads down and working. And after the result that we had on Saturday, you have no other choice but to suck it up and move on and just keep working to get better. And that's the thing about college football too, is, you have a big loss one week, but, the next week you have another great opportunity versus a great team to go out there and compete and, put our brand, put our school, represented the way that we want to represent it. So it's been intense. There's a certain level of focus and intensity that, we made sure to bring to practice today.
What would you say is the biggest overarching message that you've heard from Coach Clausen, following Saturday?
Yeah. So I guess the biggest thing is, you win some, you lose some, and that wasn't our best showing, but it's all about how we respond. And so, that game wasn't, the story of our team. That's not the description of our team. I feel like in many ways, how we respond this week will, be able to show who we are. And that's another thing Coach said. He was like, a lot of times after a big loss or things like that, a lot of teams, get to find who we are. But, he made a great point in saying, we know who we are. We just get to show it to the world, exactly who we are coming up this next week.
Hey, Kobie, there is not a lot of love lost between Wake Forest and NC State. Certainly not a lot of love lost between the fan bases. There's always a lot of chippiness for this game, and you've got the intensity in practice coming off the loss. How do you make sure that you don't kind of over-generate yourselves with an anticipation for this game?
Yeah, so Coach Lambo does a great job of talking to us about, what our intensity should be, where we should be, and making sure that we're all the way up to the line, but not crossing it. There's a very fine line between, intensity and playing hard and playing with fire and being nasty and, taking cheap shots or doing things that are going to give us penalties and things that are going to hurt the team. And so for a big time rivalry game like this, if you're not playing up to that line, then you're not bringing everything you have. There's a lot of energy, a lot of chippiness, like you said. And you really have to play up to that line, and you have to bring a lot of intensity and play with the edge. So we're working on that, but making sure that it's controlled in the same way.
North Carolina State, Dave Doran said they're probably going to play two quarterbacks on Saturday. They're going to play Morris and Chambers. They're both going to get snaps. Does that impact how you prepare for the game?
We definitely will have them on film, and we'll be able to see kind of how they've managed the game. And the big thing is that, these two quarterbacks have been able to come in and still be able to run their offense. They don't have to, pull a bunch of plays because of these young quarterbacks. One of them's an older guy, and then even the freshman, he's, came in the second half, especially at Virginia Tech, and, led them to a comeback win. So they can both run that offense. So we'll be preparing for both of them. And, just preparing for the offense as a whole. They haven't had to scrap a lot of things because those guys are in there. So definitely creates, a level of, you got to stay on your P's and Q's and make sure you know who's in and what's going on.
Let me ask you a big picture question, because about your tenure, as short as it's been so far at Wake Forest. Dave Clausen, a couple of weeks ago in his press conference, his weekly press conference, said Kobie Turner is the kind of guy that makes you glad you're a football coach. In other words, the kind of what you've brought to the team, both as an experienced college football player, your leadership, but what you brought and play and attitude as well. What does that say to you about your decision to come to Wake Forest?
It says a lot. To be able to have Coach Clausen's respect in that way, and to have been able to earn, a lot of the team's respect has been huge to me. That was one of my goals coming in is, I want to be able to be a leader. I want to be able to step up and be able to show some of those qualities and, you know, to have been able to earn that, but also to have again, it goes back to the group of guys that's pushing me, you know, to be a leader, that's pushing me to be the very best that I can be. And in return, I'm able to give back in that way. So it definitely means a lot. And, you know, it means, you know, now I have more to give, you know, being able to step up and be a leader and be able to, you know, contribute to this great team. I have to keep on doing that. You know, there's 4 more weeks of the regular season, and I plan on giving, you know, everything I am to this team. That's the kind of guy I am, and that's the type of team this is. And, you know, for us to reach our goals, you know, that's what it requires, is everybody giving, you know, everything that they are, everything that they have to this team, and to getting other people ready, getting myself ready, you know, just being a leader in general.
All right. Thanks, man.
Yes, sir.
Kobie, what would you define as the goals of the team at this point, and what needs to be accomplished to reach those goals at this point?
Yeah. So some of the big picture goals that we talked about that are still in play, you know, in our meeting on Sunday was the Orange Bowl and the Big Four championship. You know, that Big Four championship is huge, to be able to be the best team in North Carolina. We have a very tough slate. And, you know, Coach pointed out that, you know, the 3 teams that we're competing against for that Orange Bowl spot, we all have them on their schedule. And then the 3 teams for the Big Four championship, we have them on our schedule. So in very many ways, our destiny is in our own hands, and it's how we choose to go about it. But again, those are big picture things, and, you know, that's not our focus. That was just, you know, to make sure that, you know, everybody still, like, this season still means something. We have a lot to work for, and in a lot of ways, you know, we have a big November ahead of us. But at the end of the day, it comes back to going 1-0 this week. And, you know, every week is a 1-week season, and we have a really tough opponent and an in-state rivalry. And so it comes back to doing the little things right, and, you know, week in and week out, but specifically with this week, what are we going to do to win this game? And then, you know, next week we can worry about next week and what all that entails. But from now until Saturday night, you know, once that final whistle is blown, it's all about NC State.
What exactly was that third quarter like for you as a defender? It seemed like it lasted forever. What were some of the emotions and thoughts going through your head as you guys kind of went through that cycle?
It definitely lasted a long time. You know, I didn't realize that it was 35 unanswered in the third quarter. So it was very strange. You know, it was definitely a peculiar moment. And then, you know, for us to be out on the field, you know, at the times that we were, and to not be able to come up with a stop, you know, that's something that we as the defense, you know, were focused on and focused on, you know, how can we get off the field, you know, regardless of where we are, you know, regardless of where we get the ball, boom, the ball's down, and it's our job to keep that offense out of the end zone. So, you know, it was a tough quarter, for sure. It was definitely a tough quarter, but definitely one that we can grow and learn a lot from. And I think that we have, and hopefully we'll be able to show that this weekend.
That's all set. All right. Thanks, Kobie.
Thank you.